On December 2nd, 1993, wrestlers, mostly from colleges across the Northeast, were competing in a tournament in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. After 20 years of coaching, Craig Spencer of Kane College learned that winning or losing is not the only measure of an athlete's character and strength.
The sport of wrestling is the oldest sport participated in throughout history. It is a violent sport, but it's a controlled violence. Mike Wicker was a freshman, and I felt that this tournament was probably a little bit over his head. He hadn't had a lot of matches, but I felt he could hang in there and do very well.
Will Rance, a teammate of Michael's, was also competing in the tournament.
I met him when I first started wrestling, and ever since then we just became good friends. It was one of the best matches he wrestled all year. He was up 4-1. Mike was on the bottom, and before he can roll, the guy kicked his arm out. You could tell that there was something wrong because he had screamed that he couldn't move. He couldn't move. I just couldn't believe what was going on. I felt devastated.
When I got to Michael on the mat, and he was yelling out my neck, and you could see the bulge from the disc, and my gut feeling was this is very, very serious.
What happened?
The tournament's certified athletic trainers were called to the floor, including Michael Aid.
Michael was lying face down, and I carefully palpated his neck, and I felt a bony protrusion. And I looked at my partner, and I guess I must have had that look on my face that had doom spelled on it. I said, Jim, get an ambulance. I said, this young man is in very serious trouble. You got to move him as a unit. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We decided we better log roll Michael. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Well, you got to do everything in unison, and you've got to be very, very careful when you do this, because any twisting, this person could actually be permanently paralyzed or could die. Get his hand, coach.
He tried to get up, and they told him to stay down. They specifically told him, do not move. And that scared him. I could tell that scared him a lot.
Get up. You're okay. You're all right. Relax, Mike. Just relax. Take your breathing a little slower. We had to physically hold him down because he kept on insisting that if I can just move, I will be okay.
Coach, I need to get up, Coach.
1 second, he was wrestling great. And the next thing you know, he's injured and he's laying flat on his back waiting for the paramedics to come. It's just incredible how you could just switch just like that.
19-year-old Michael Wicker was taken to Wilkes-Barre General Hospital and put under the care of neurosurgeon David Sedor.
The test results showed that Michael had slipped the C4 bone over the C5 bone. He was probably within a millimeter of having permanent devastating damage to his spinal cord. The space of the canal for the spinal cord is very badly narrowed. We're going to have to reduce it. He would have damaged the spinal cord further and eventually gone into cardiopulmonary arrest if he had gotten up and not listened to the advice of the trainer.
Michael was put in traction to try to realign the vertebrae in his neck without surgery. He was given a 50-50 chance of recovering. Michael's grandmother, Inez Wicker, who raised him and his younger sister, Chenille, since the death of their mother, came to see Michael as soon as she could.
When I first saw Michael, he was laying straight out, like he was in a morgue. And I felt very drained out, because, you know, in intensive care, you think about death. And we sat down and talked for a while, and he burst out crying. Because I think deep down in his heart, he might have thought that he was going to die. The pain will go away, because we want you to get well and come home.
He looked so weak. He couldn't move or nothing. He was just stuck in the bed. And I was really scared. Michael means everything to me because he's my only brother. And I love him a lot, and I don't think he knows.
After a second operation to fuse the damaged vertebrae in his neck, Michael spent 2 months undergoing extensive physical therapy.
This case is a clear example of how important it is not to move somebody with a critical spinal injury, and I just wish that all the cases could end this happily.
Okay, Michael, nice and slow. I'm going to build things up very slow. I'd like to just...
If it wasn't for Michael Aid, you know, if I would have got up even a millimeter, I probably wouldn't be here today. And I thank him very much for that.
Slow. I was just one piece in a very difficult puzzle. And Mike Wicker was a very major part of that puzzle because of his determination and his courage. This young man was literally on a deathbed. And I'm just tickled to death that it turned out this way for him.
Mike's doing good. He can do just about everything. He can lift. He can play basketball. He can't wrestle. But for Mike to come back the way he did, it took a lot of guts and courage and a lot of heart.
Though Michael can no longer pursue his love of wrestling as a competitor, he's been made a student assistant for the team.
Nice. When Michael returned, he walked into the room, and several of the kids turned their heads, saw Michael walking in. The entire practice stopped, and they all stood up and started clapping. And Michael's eyes teared up, and all of our eyes teared up to see the wrestlers stand up and applaud like that. They would never do that for me coming into the room.
When I look at Michael, I see a miracle. I'm just so pleased that he's feeling better. And I'm forever asking him, is your neck hurting you? Is your neck hurting? He said, no, it's not bothering me. But it's just my way of, you know, just feeling happy that he's there.
Smile. You don't want to smile. You want candy.
I went through so much sadness when I lost his mother that I don't think I would have been able to go through any more sadness.
What you want? You don't want what?
When I look at my sister, sometimes I just see my mother there. And the thought of me even losing her or she losing me, I couldn't bear that.
I know it, Joe. You mean to come crash. I'm real happy because now we can do the same things we were doing before. I like going shopping with Michael because I don't have to pay for nothing.